Hello and welcome. I'm Belle, and today we embark on a rather remarkable journey. It's a journey not to a distant land, but into the past, exploring the hidden history of the very food that graces our tables. When you look at a banana, a carrot, or a slice of watermelon, you might think you are seeing something entirely natural, a product of the wild, untouched by human hands. But the truth is far more complex, and I think far more fascinating. These familiar forms are, in fact, the result of a long and intimate partnership between humanity and the plant kingdom. For thousands of years, our ancestors have been silently shaping the evolution of these species. Through a process of careful selection, they have transformed wild plants that were often small, bitter, or even inedible into the sweet, vibrant, and nutritious foods we cherish today. This process, known as selective breeding or artificial selection, is a testament to human ingenuity and our profound connection to the natural world. It is a story of coevolution, where our needs have sculpted the very DNA of the plants we cultivate. So prepare to be astonished. The transformations we are about to witness are truly extraordinary. The wild ancestors of our favorite fruits and vegetables are so profoundly different from their modern descendants that they are, in some cases, almost unrecognizable. Join me as we peel back the layers of time and unveil the secret lives of the plants we thought we knew so well. What you discover might just change the way you look at your grocery basket forever. Our journey begins in the lush rainforests of Southeast Asia, the cradle of one of the world's most popular fruits, the banana. The modern banana, with its convenient peel, soft, sweet flesh, and lack of seeds, is a masterpiece of cultivation. It is easy to eat, predictable, and perfectly suited to our tastes. It seems almost designed for our consumption, a simple gift from nature. But its wild ancestor tells a very different story, a story of struggle and survival in a competitive forest environment. The wild banana, Musa acuminata, is a world away from the fruit we know. If you were to slice one open, you would be met not with creamy, palatable flesh, but with a dense collection of large, hard seeds, like bullets suspended in a minimal amount of starchy pulp. These seeds, vital for the plant's reproduction in the wild, rendered the fruit almost entirely inedible for humans. To get any sustenance from it would have been a laborious and unrewarding task. It was a fruit designed not for us, but for the forest creatures capable of cracking its tough seeds. It was our ancestors who saw the potential hidden within this unpromising package. They began to seek out and cultivate rare, naturally occurring mutations, plants that produced smaller, softer seeds, or sometimes no seeds at all. Over countless generations, this patient selection transformed the banana. They favored the parthenocarpic varieties, which could produce fruit without fertilization, creating the sterile, seedless, and sweet banana we enjoy today. It is a remarkable feat of genetic sculpting, turning a tough, seed-filled pod into a global dietary staple. We now travel from the tropics to the temperate lands of ancient Persia and Anatolia, the original home of the humble carrot. Today we associate this root vegetable with a vibrant orange color, a sweet taste, and a satisfying crunch. It is a staple in kitchens around the world, celebrated for its high content of beta-carotene, which our bodies convert into vitamin A. This bright orange hue seems an intrinsic part of the carrot's identity, a signature trait that defines it. Yet, this color is a surprisingly recent development in the carrot's long history. Wild carrots, known scientifically as Daucus carota, bore little resemblance to their modern orange counterparts. They were thin, tough, and often forked, with a woody texture and a strong, bitter flavor. More strikingly, they were not orange at all. These ancestral roots were typically white, like Queen Anne's lace, a close wild relative, or sometimes a deep, dramatic purple or even yellow. They were harvested not primarily for their roots, but for their aromatic leaves and seeds, which were used as herbs and medicine long before the root itself was considered a significant food source. The transformation into the familiar orange vegetable is a fascinating piece of agricultural history with a touch of patriotic lore. It was Dutch growers in the 16th and 17th centuries who are credited with developing the orange carrot. By selectively breeding yellow and purple varieties, they cultivated strains with higher levels of beta-carotene, which resulted in the now iconic orange color. Some theories suggest this was done as a tribute to the House of Orange, the ruling dynasty of the Netherlands at the time. From this small region, the sweet orange carrot spread across the globe, eventually eclipsing its colorful ancestors in popularity. Our story now takes us to the arid landscapes of southern Africa, the birthplace of a fruit that has become synonymous with summer refreshment, the watermelon. When we picture a watermelon today, we imagine a large, heavy orb which, when cut, reveals a brilliant red, succulent flesh, bursting with sweet, hydrating juice. It is the perfect antidote to a hot day, a simple pleasure enjoyed worldwide. It's difficult to imagine this fruit as anything other than this juicy, sweet delight, but its ancient form was far less inviting. The wild ancestors of the watermelon, such as the citron melon, were dramatically different. These fruits were small, perhaps the size of a grapefruit, with a pale greenish rind. Inside, the flesh was not the vibrant red we expect, but a tough, pale white or yellowish green. More importantly, it was incredibly bitter, a result of chemical compounds called cucurbitacins, which act as a natural defense against being eaten by most animals. Early humans would not have eaten this fruit for pleasure. Its primary value may have been as a source of water in drought-prone regions, consumed out of sheer necessity. The journey from a bitter, hard-fleshed gourd to a sweet, juicy fruit is beautifully documented in ancient art. Egyptian tomb paintings from over 4,000 years ago depict watermelons that are more oblong and striped than their wild cousins, suggesting cultivation was well underway. Over centuries, farmers patiently selected for sweetness and color. They chose seeds from the least bitter, most palatable fruits, gradually breeding out the bitterness and breeding in the high sugar and lycopene content that gives the modern watermelon its signature red flesh and sweet flavor. It is a slow, deliberate transformation from a survival food to a celebrated dessert. Perhaps one of the most astonishing transformations in the plant kingdom is that of maize or corn. We travel now to the valleys of modern-day Mexico, where this story began some 9,000 years ago. Today, corn is a global powerhouse, a staple crop that feeds billions. We see it as a large cob, packed neatly with hundreds of soft, sweet, plump kernels. It is a symbol of agricultural abundance, a plant so productive it has shaped civilizations. But to find its ancestor, we must look not for a cob, but for something that appears, at first glance, to be little more than a wild grass. The wild ancestor of corn is a plant called teosinte. The differences are staggering. Instead of a single, large stalk bearing one or two cobs, teosinte is a branching, bushy plant, looking far more like a weed than a crop. It produces not a large cob, but tiny ears that are only an inch or two long. Most critically, these ears bear only a handful of kernels, perhaps 5 to 12 in a single row, and each kernel is locked away inside an incredibly hard, stone-like casing. To eat it would be like trying to chew gravel. It was, by any modern standard, a profoundly inefficient and difficult source of food. The domestication of teosinte into modern corn represents one of humanity's greatest agricultural achievements. Early Mesoamerican farmers must have possessed incredible foresight and patience. They noticed subtle variations, a plant with slightly larger kernels or a slightly softer casing, and they saved those seeds. Over thousands of years of this meticulous selection, they guided the evolution of this wild grass. The hard casing receded to become the flimsy cob we know today. The number of kernels exploded, and the plant's very structure changed from a branching shrub to a single, sturdy stalk. It is a radical reinvention, turning a wild grass into a cornerstone of the global food supply. Our final chapter takes us to Asia, likely originating in India or China, to uncover the origins of the eggplant, or aubergine. In the modern grocery store, we typically find a large, glossy, deep purple fruit with a smooth skin and a green calyx, or cap. Its mild flavor and spongy texture make it a versatile ingredient in cuisines from the Mediterranean to the Far East. It is a familiar, uniform, and unassuming vegetable. However, its wild relatives present a far more varied and formidable appearance, a reminder of its untamed origins. The first eggplants were a far cry from the smooth purple globes we see today. They were small, often round or egg-shaped, which is where their English name originates. They came in a dazzling array of colors: white, yellow, green, and lavender, not just the deep purple we have come to expect. Most notably, these early eggplants were often covered in sharp, defensive spines, particularly on the calyx and stem, making them difficult and painful to harvest. Their flesh was also significantly more bitter than that of modern cultivars, another natural defense mechanism. Through centuries of cultivation, farmers gradually selected for the traits we now value. They chose plants with larger fruit, fewer and smaller spines, and less bitterness. The deep purple color, which contains beneficial anthocyanin pigments, became a preferred trait in many cultures, and so it was selected for time and again. This process has smoothed away the eggplant's wild defenses, transforming it from a small, spiny, and bitter fruit into the large, smooth, and culinarily adaptable vegetable that has found a home in so many of the world's great food traditions. It is a story of taming a wild and prickly character into a gentle giant of the garden. As our journey comes to a close, we are left with a profound new perspective. The produce aisle of our local supermarket is not merely a collection of plants, it is a living museum, showcasing the results of a partnership between humans and nature that spans millennia. Every fruit and vegetable we have explored today carries within its genes the story of this incredible transformation. From a seedy banana to a spiny eggplant, the wild world has been patiently and painstakingly reshaped by the hands of our ancestors to meet our needs for sustenance and flavor. This history is a powerful reminder of our deep and intricate connection to the food we eat. These plants are not static commodities, they are the dynamic products of a long evolutionary dance. Taking a moment to consider the bitter, tough, or thorny origins of our everyday foods can fill us with a renewed sense of wonder and gratitude for the ingenuity and persistence of the farmers who came before us. They were the original genetic engineers, working with nothing but observation, patience, and the natural variations provided by the wild. So the next time you slice a carrot for a stew or peel a banana for a snack, I hope you will see it in a new light. See it as a piece of living history, a testament to a remarkable journey from the wild to our plates. This story is written in the very fiber of our food, waiting to be discovered. I am incredibly curious to know which of these ancestral plants surprised you the most. Was it the grassy teosinte, the seedy banana, or the colorful carrot? Please share your thoughts in the comments below. Thank you for